doing? I hope you are all doing good. Yes, I do. If you've been following me on this channel, then you're an OG, baby. Yes, you are. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy you decided to join us on this crazy ride. So, if you're not following me on my YouTube channel, you should go ahead and join the fam. Hello. And if you're not following me over on TikTok, then you should definitely join our family over there as well. I'll leave both of my TikTok pages linked in the description. Okay guys, if something looks out of place, that's because I am just now returning. I had to go run some errands, but I am back to do the story time. I probably didn't even have to say that, but I feel like it makes the video more genuine. Today I bring you a story time of the last time I went to jail and what lesson I learned in jail. I got a dose of my own medicine, and honestly by this point I had already learned my lesson, but it was just one of the things of I couldn't even be mad. It didn't matter if I had already turned my life around by that point. I couldn't be mad. So if you do not know, I have 8.5 years of sobriety. However, within them 8.5 years, I have had one and only one relapse that occurred in 2014. When this relapse happened, I did get into some legal trouble. I will not say what my charges were, but I will say that they pertain to theft. That's not something I am proud of, and I hold extreme guilt over my head every day for the things that I've done in addiction, because that's not who I am as a person, and I would never do the things I did in addiction sober. But that goes to show you what addiction does to a person and how it changes them and their values. So when I got into this legal trouble, naturally they placed me on probation. Now, I actually have a couple other story times based around these charges and me going to jail. See, the funny thing is, the last few times that I've actually been to jail, I was living the right lifestyle and I was on the straight and narrow. I went for things like failure to pay fines, which violated a probation, or absconding. So this story time in particular is about the last time that I went to jail. Now, I was placed on paper. So they put me on 2 years paper probation. And to be honest with you, I never even went to orientation. No. So they ended up putting me on 2 years worth of paper probation. And to be honest with you, I only went to orientation. I never even seen my probation officer. At the end of 2014, I got offered a job in New Jersey. Now, in Tennessee, I had something legally that I needed to take to court, and I couldn't afford a lawyer to do so. If you've been following me for a while, you know what that is. If you haven't been following me for a while, I'm sorry, I cannot talk about it anymore because it could get me in trouble. But just know that I needed to take this case to court, and I wasn't making enough money, like I said, to get a lawyer in Tennessee. So when I got that job offer, I'm like, you know, I can go up there, make the money I need to, then come back later and handle this probation thing, because I realized if I left state that would put a warrant out for my arrest. Now, I should have just asked my probation officer, but I didn't, because I was scared that if I asked her, that not only wouldn't she let me go, that she would also be watching me, so then I wouldn't be able to leave. Because I've asked other probation officers before to transfer cases and they wouldn't do it. So I just left. Now, honestly, I didn't even leave until April of 2015. So I waited months before even making the decision to finally take the job. So I end up in New Jersey. I work. In about July 2016, I had planned on turning myself in. I didn't get that chance because in May of 2016, I got caught, which is a whole nother story time. I'll share at a later date. So I get to the jail in Tennessee, and you have to go through that whole booking process. I sleep on this thing called the Rock for I was in the hole for a couple of days at this point, and then we got transferred to the actual jail that we were going to be staying at, and we had to sit there for several more hours before ever getting booked in to go to the back. Well, finally I make it to the back, and it's like a big relief when you do get back there. because you can finally get into the shower and all that stuff. So I automatically click with a group of girls. Now, one of them's name, should I change it for the story time? I mean, it's only her first name, and it's not like anybody's ever going to know who it is. Okay, so her name is Michaela. I click with her. She is supposedly pregnant this time. We find out that she was lying about that. She was never pregnant. But me and her clicked. So we was hanging out. Now, there was this one girl in particular named Stormy that I had been in jail with before, and she knew that I would give you the shirt off my back, so I don't know why she did all this, but it is what it is. So my husband, anytime I've ever been to jail, he has kept me loaded up on commissary, green dots. I never went without anything. Green dots I would use for tobacco. However, this time when I went into jail, I had already made a promise to myself that I wasn't even going to do tobacco this time, because I would spend $30 on the green dot to get very little tobacco. And imagine him sending that almost every day while I'm sitting in jail. So I made a promise that that wasn't happening this time. And every other time I have been to jail, I had actually, was so generous that next thing you know, I would have given all my stuff up, and I was sitting there going without before the next commissary day. And then you would see the same people that you have given stuff to come out with stashes of snacks, but they didn't want to share with you. So by the last time I went to jail, I had already gotten my smarts up that I wasn't letting nobody use me. So I would get my commissary, and I would help people out that didn't have commissary, or if someone asked for a cup of coffee, I'd give them a cup of coffee. But after 1 or 2 cups, you're cut off until the next commissary day. I had to do it like that because I found myself going without when I kept giving all my stuff to everybody. So the first week I didn't buy a lock for my box. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get everything I need. Shampoo, because you can only spend so much per week. And I needed to get my necessities like my shampoo, body soap, all that. And then I wanted my snacks too. So if I bought a lock, that would interfere with me being able to do all that. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get my necessities this week and my snacks. And the next week I'll get a lock and snacks. So I had put in a request form for a bra and some panties and stuff, because they only gave me 1 pair of socks, 1 pair of panties, and I didn't even have a bra. So finally the guard comes in, like it was, what was it, a few days later or something like that, and she is checking my box, because they check your box and under your mattress to make sure you're not lying and trying to just stash up on more socks and stuff like that, trying to get them to give you more, basically. So she checks my stuff, and she goes, in front of everybody now, the guard goes, you need to put a lock on that box for someone takes your stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking in my head, well, you don't have to announce it to the whole dorm room, so somebody will take it. So that shit pissed me off. But I'm like, nobody ain't gonna take it with me sitting right here. And they wouldn't. But anyways, and she was like, okay. But she made a point to say that in front of everybody. So this stupid guard has done told everybody in the whole dorm room, basically, because she made a point to say it out loud about me not having a lock. So that made me nervous within itself. Now, Stormy, the girl that I had been in jail with previously, she actually wasn't in the dorm when I first came there. She had actually got kicked out of her other dorm and got placed in our dorm. So when she came over into our dorm, her and Michaela started hanging out, even though Michaela didn't like her because she had been with one of her exes or something, some crap they had going on. Them girls always had some drama going on in there, but they ended up clicking up anyways. So I go to bed one night, I go to bed that night, and I keep tossing and turning, and I see Stormy over there with Michaela. And I don't think about it, and I'm not sleeping good all night, and I'm tossing and turning. But for some reason, right around breakfast time is when I would actually finally get into a deep sleep. So they put and I noticed the next time I turned up, they had turned over, they had put a sheet up on their bunk. which I thought was weird, but I still didn't think nothing of it. They called chow, and I guess everybody goes to breakfast. Now, it's not too long after breakfast, I wake up and I jump down from my bunk. I go to get in my box, I go to undo it or whatever, because it slid up under the bunk. So I'm on the top bunk, I have my bunkie on the bottom bunk, and my box is right underneath her. So I'm sitting there thinking, well, nothing's going to happen, because they would hear it if someone's trying to get there, and then Michaela's on this side. So, and she's up all night, so of course she's not going to just let somebody come to my bed, right? I go to jump down and open my box, and I swear to God, I thought I was dreaming. I go to open my box, and everything's gone but my letters. And I'm surprised they even left my damn letters in there. Everything's gone. Everything. Like everything. All my snacks. Everything. They actually were nice enough to leave me a couple envelopes, my letters, and stamps. But that's it. They took everything else. My Coke bucks, because in this particular jail you got Coke bucks. They took everything. Boy, I was so pissed. So I start banging on the door up front to get the captain's attention and the other lady that's in charge, the one that told everybody I didn't have a lock on my box, and then the other lady that's in charge. They tell me that the camera's not working. Conveniently, the cameras are not working. Boy, I was so pissed. I called my husband right then. I'm like, you better call up here and talk to them. He does. They tell him the same thing. They tell him the cameras are not working. So I start walking around the dorm room, and I'm like, somebody better give me my shit. Tell me who took my shit. I will turn this whole damn dorm room upside down. I'm walking around, and I'm daring someone to try me, because I was pissed. And I start going around to each person's bunk and having them show me their shit. Well, there was this one girl in the corner named Jody. She didn't want her clique showing me shit. Basically told me to go kick rocks. That's what she told me. I was so fucking pissed. I'm like, you fucking cowards, and I'm going off, and I'm just a whole mess. Well, I ended up finding out that during breakfast, Michaela and Stormy had slid my box out. They waited for everybody to go breakfast, basically, so they could do this. They slid my box out from under the bunk, ran to the showers, and there was another girl named Brittany. Now, she had just gotten out of the hole and come back into the dorm, and I guess they owed her some money. So I guess they figured they were going to take Christina's shit in order to pay Brittany back. So they run to the shower, and Brittany's in there taking a shower early in the morning, and they're all going through the box and split all the stuff up between each other. Now, I had noticed Michaela didn't get no commissary that week, and I noticed that she had kept coming up with Coke bucks, and I kept questioning her about it. She kept denying it. She got so paranoid about being next to me because she knew I was pissed off that her and her little friend Ariel moved across the dorm room away from me. But I knew that she had something to do with it at this point. I had that gut feeling and everything. Well, Brittany ends up getting into some more trouble and gets put back in the hole. And someone tells me that Michaela and Stormy gave my shit to Brittany, or some of it. So while they have Brittany down the hole, I go to the guard and I'm like, can you check her shit? I think that she has my stolen commissary in there. And the guard tells me at first she's not going to check. This is a whole different guard than the two ladies that were there that told me the cameras weren't working. But she ends up going through it because she calls me up to the dorm room, and she hands me some of my Nutty Buddies, a couple of other snacks, and she said, this is all I could recover for you, but she goes, I went through your commissary list and it does match your items. So I got them back. Well, a couple days later, Brittany ended up coming back from the hole. Now, by this point, reality had already set in. I'm like, how can I get mad at somebody stealing my commissary when the whole reason why I have charges on me to begin with is because I took from someone else, because I stole? sounds like karma was just paying me a little visit. It doesn't matter if I had already changed my life by that point. It doesn't matter if 2 years had already went by since all that happened. The fact remains, I was still on probation and caught charges because I stole. So how can I get mad at someone else for doing the same thing to me? In that moment, when I realized that, I learned a valuable lesson then too, and I felt this overwhelming sense of peace come over me, and I become humble real quick like. So Brittany gets out of the hole, and I guess she starts feeling bad, and she comes to me and she says, look, she goes, them girls owed me some money. She goes, they brought your box to the shower. She goes, I probably shouldn't have participated in it, but I wasn't going to turn down the stuff, so I took it. And she goes, and they passed the rest out of it, the rest of it out to the rest of the dorm, like my Tylenol and all that went around to the dorm. So whatever they didn't want, I guess they just passed out. I was like, okay, thank you for telling me. I was like, at least you were woman enough to tell me. And she apologizes and stuff like that. And I said, you know what? I forgive you. I said, I really can't be mad. I'm in jail for theft. And after I knew for a fact that Stormy had took it, she was sitting on the top bunk. And I screamed out. I'm like, it's okay, because my husband keeps me good every week. They must have needed it more than I did. So, I got all rowdy there for a second until reality set in. That, my friend, is karma. Karma. And it was about, $75 worth of stuff they had taken. But luckily I did retrieve a few snacks. So I had a little something to get me by until the next commissary day. But, you know, I don't know. I just thought that was a good lesson. And I'm like, well, you can't be mad. How can you be mad? You can't be mad. Remember, next time you do something stupid, karma will come for you. So remember, the next time you want to do something stupid, karma will come for you. Period. I hope we all learned something from that story time. I know that I most certainly did. And I got so many more, probably better ones. Bear with me. I know that I could get better at explaining these stories, and I will. Practice makes perfect, right? Right? So I hope y'all enjoyed today's story times. And if y'all want to hear more story times about me being in jail, what I learned, what I seen, then let me know down in the comments below. Again, if you're not following me on TikTok, you totally should. We would love to have you. And if you're not following me here on YouTube, make sure you click that subscribe button and hit that post notification bell also, so you never miss a beat with me. Until next time, I love you all. Bye!